Hey guys, welcome back to the quiet space of the Formless Guide. Today, we're going to step away from the breath and the mantra just for a moment and step into a story. Not a legend, but a simple human story about a devoted soul named Aravind and the fire that lives inside us all. Aravind was a yogi who dedicated his life to the mat. He could hold a sushasana, a perfect headstand, until the sun set and rose again. His body was a temple of strength, but his mind, it was a battlefield. He was striving for perfection, striving for enlightenment. And in all that striving, he felt a crushing sense of limitation, a subtle arrogance that came with his discipline. He knew all the postures, he knew all the breadcrumbs, but he knew deep down he was spiritually stuck. One evening, sitting in deep meditation, Aravind felt a profound silence settle over him. And in that silence, an inner voice, a knowing, rose up. It told him, the true journey doesn't start with the ascent of the feet, but with the awakening of the root. He realized the work was not in bending his body, but in tending the tiny, coiled seed of the divine feminine energy, the Shakti, that curious energy that lays dormant at the base of his spine. All his effort, all his discipline, was meant only to build the clean channel. Now the actual journey had to begin inward. Aravind committed to a different kind of practice. He wasn't doing yoga anymore. He was being the yoga. He started with the root, the Muladhara. He felt the physical density of his body, the attachments to the earth, the simple survival fears that still gripped his gut. He learned to breathe into them, not to fight them, but to simply acknowledge them as part of the architecture. The goal wasn't to force the serpent to rise, but to whisper to her, to make the path above welcoming. He would sit for hours, visualizing the dense red earth at his base, until one day he felt not a force, but a gentle stirring, a warmth, a quiet vibration that moved upward. It reached his sacral center, Svadhisthana. Here, the energy met his ocean of memory, his fears of emotion, and his creative guilt. The stirring energy flowed like a warm orange current, teaching him that flow is not loss of control, but a form of surrender. As the energy was cleansed, it moved to the solar plexus, Manipura. This center was harder. This was the seat of his will, his ego, his striving. The energy ignited here, becoming a blazing yellow sun, burning away the shame and the self-judgment he harbored. It was painful, but it was purification. He realized his power wasn't in forcing things, but in allowing the divine will to work through him. Now ready, the fire moved to the heart, Anahata. Here the intense yellow light softened into an expansive emerald green. The heart burst open, not with dramatic revelation, but with simple, quiet compassion, unconditional love for his own imperfect journey. The love that poured forth was unconditional because it was sourced not from others, but from the universe reflecting through him. The journey quickened. At the throat, Vishuddha, the energy cleared the air, transforming into a pure, boundless sky of blue light. Aravind no longer needed to try to speak the truth. He simply was the truth. All artifice, all posturing was dissolved by clarity. With that being said, finally, the energy pulsed at the center of his forehead. Agna, the third eye. Here it turned a deep, clear indigo. It was the last knot, the final separation between the self and the source. For a long, silent time, the energy gathered. Then, not with a bang, but with an instantaneous, silent dissolution, the energy broke through. It rushed to the crown, Sahasrara. The final color was not violet, not white, but pure. Blinding no color, a spectrum. The 1,000-petaled lotus bloomed. The individual Aravind dissolved, melting into the universal consciousness. There was only peace now. The experience passed. Aravind slowly returned to his body, yet he was utterly changed. The world hadn't changed. The sun still rose and set, but his experience of it was radically different. He was no longer striving. He was simply being. His morning practice, once a struggle against the body, now became an effortless flow. The compassion he sought was now automatic. It simply was. The anger and ambition that once ruled his solar plexus were gone, replaced by a quiet, unwavering will rooted in service. Aravind learned a great lesson of the journey. The awakening of the Kundalini isn't about fireworks. It's about ultimate integration. It's about bringing the wisdom of the crown down into the reality of the root, so that every action, every word, every breath becomes a direct reflection of universal consciousness. His life became his practice. This same potential, this very fire, lies coiled within you. Your striving, your discipline, your meditation, it's all building the welcome channel. Don't seek the perfection of the form. Seek perfection of the flow. Now take a moment. Sit with the story of Aravind. Feel the quiet power at your own root. Feel the potential for clarity, power, and compassion that is waiting to ascend within you. Carry this possibility, this quiet knowing, into the rest of your day. The journey is inward, and it is yours alone. This is your Formless Guide, where we build that formless nature that lies within us all. Signing off.